This is a quick reminder video on how to get your color work at the beginning of the round to be as seamless as possible. A lot of folks refer to this as jogless knitting because when you're knitting in the round, it's more like a spiral. So every time that you change colors for the next round, you're actually moving up one round. So to get it where the color in the row doesn't pull up and it's not even or as even as possible, I wanted to remind myself, and if it helps anyone else, that's wonderful. But create a reminder video on how to do this. I have seen in other knitters' work that they are somehow pulling one leg of the stitch up and then knitting them together. Let me put my stitch marker on real quick. So if I want to change from white to the black yarn, what I've seen, which I could be doing it wrong, but what I've seen is they'll pull this bottom leg up and knit the two stitches together. And for some odd reason, when I do that, basically you pull that leg up and then you'll end up knitting them together. It doesn't give me what I want. And you can see down here, the stitches get elongated, they get stretched out. Personally, I'm not a fan of whatever's happening down here. But when we move further up the beginning of the round, you can see things line up pretty straight. And this is pulling because I'm pulling on it. But you can see you have that row, 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 row. Everything is lining up. So how I'm doing that is once I've finished with the first full color, I'm going to flip my yarn. So what I'm doing is taking the color that I'm done with, I'm going to lay it onto the left needle, get my new color into working position on my hand, and this color that was laying here on the left needle, I'm just going to move it to the back. Just give it a little tug to get it out of the way. And then I'm just going to knit. Nothing special. Make sure that stays out of the way. Let me see if I can get around this pretty quickly. And this is just a quick little swatch, so I'm sorry that it's rolling up and getting in the way. The yarn is twisting, so I'm just gonna pull it apart and back. Okay, and back to the beginning of the round. Knit that last stitch with the color that I'm on currently. Move my stitch marker, and again I'm going to lay the color that I'm now done with right there on the left needle. Pick up the color that I want to work with now. Get it wrapped around my hand. And now what was the old color, I'm just going to move it right around to the back. Give it a little tug. Get my tails out of the way. And you can see it's pulling. And then just knit. Oops, tighten that to get it out of the way for a second. And then just knit around, nothing special. And that's all I do. I just crisscross the yarns at the beginning of the round, laying the old color on the left needle, getting the new yarn into my hand, and then pulling the old color right around into the back. And it works out great, for me at least. Apologies if the clock was startling, but I do like my grandfather clock, so it is what it is. Okay, back to the beginning of my round, getting these tails out of the way. Move my stitch marker, and again repeat. The color I just finished with, lay it on the left needle, pull up the new color, and then move the old color right around to the back. And then just start knitting. Make sure to pull it, because otherwise you will end up seeing it on that first stitch if you don't pull it tight enough. Not super tight, but just enough to get it to not show up in that first stitch. Okay, I'm far enough away from the beginning of the round to take a look at what we have. Okay, this is where I was trying the technique of pulling the bottom leg up. Didn't like it, it's doing something wonky. So let's go up further, and things look like they're lining up pretty nicely. So again, not liking this. And this is the first round where I started the technique that I like. So I've got white, black, white, black, and it keeps going up, and it's pretty seamless. Not bad at all for the beginning of the round. The colors aren't jumping. They're in line with any small little inconsistencies would end up blocking out when the knitting blooms when I washed in some wool wash. But that's how I do my jogless knitting. And on the inside, it makes a nice little spine, that crisscross, going right up the center. So that's what you would end up seeing.